Hello, everybody. It's that time again, 2 o'clock, and you're listening to the Sports Minion Radio Show on Facebook Live and www.letgoradio.net. I'm your host, DJ, and this is my co-host, the one you really tuned in for. Oh, my God, it's Chuck, and we're here to deliver the sports news the most entertaining way we can. It could be, it might be, it's that time again. It's the Sports Minion Radio Show on Wednesday, the 15th at 2 o'clock. We are live on www.letgoradio.com, or .net, .net, that was my fault, and on Facebook Live. Happy to have everybody with us today tuning in. Unfortunately, it's me again today. Chuck does not do the wrestling thing, and we got a lot of wrestling stories to cover, so I'm going to go on that. So Chuck actually got the day off. I gave my brother the day off. I was nice enough to do that. I'm a sharing, loving co-host, and he wanted to knock me over, but I told him no. Hey, Elizabeth, thank you for joining me. Appreciate you coming in. I hope everybody is doing well on this wonderful weather day. The sun is out, it's shining, and it's not raining or tornadoing anywhere. Got a lot of things to cover today. Got a lot of things going. Master Jack Knott, Grandmaster Jack Knott in the house, baby. What's up? June 1st, Battle of the Seven Cities. I promise you I'm going to cover it in just a minute. Got a couple of things to go over. And speaking of which, June 1st, Saturday, June 1st, it is the Battle of the Seven Cities. Let me get the flyer opened up here so I can quote it right. The Battle of the Seven Cities Martial Arts Championship coming to you June 1st from 1000 Bowling Avenue. We got all right, let's go with it here. Let me get back to where I was. Sorry about that. And it's going to be 1000 Bowling Avenue, St. Patrick's Catholic School Gymnasium. And that's Norfolk, Virginia, 23508. Be aware of towing if parking in the neighborhood. They tow, y'all, so be ready and get there early. It's going to fill up fast. $10 cover charge to get in. Children 5 and under get in free. No defending grand champion this year. Men's grand champion point sparring division, 400 and a belt. Women's grand champion point sparring division, 400 and a belt. Weapons versus empty hand grand, going to be 300 in the belt. That's kata and empty hand as well. Must have 4 competitors in each division to give away the money. Got to have 4 people, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all come in. We're going to have a bicycle grand champion for 12 and under, and 13 to 17. So make sure that y'all are ready for that. Got to let y'all know. I'm going to tell you sports. Did I say Sports Million? Wow. Sports Million. That was good. So, you know, the Battle of the Seven Cities is always going to be great because Master Jack got so many suits. He could be his own tailor. I'm going to tell you what. Y'all, the suit he wore last year was off the chain. And you know what? I wanted to take it, but he probably would have kicked my butt. So I ain't going to, you know, we got to consult, though, because, you know, we good like that. All right, got a couple other things to hit off the top of the cup here. We got June 17th to August 23rd is the Tiger Martial Arts Summer Camp this year. Make sure to get your kids out. And that's going to be from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. on that, ages 5 to 13 years old. The price, for pricing on that, call 757-488-3882. And that includes 1 karate class a day, field trips, lots of exciting fun. You guys can call Tiger Martial Arts and speak to them about pricing on that. And it's going to be a great time and a great experience for your child. So make sure to bring them out to 5801 Portsmouth Boulevard, Tiger Martial Arts Academy, right by Sonic. Y'all go out there and check it out. Hope everybody is doing extremely well today. So our next one, we've got July 14th is the launch of Kelly's Choice Cares anniversary and the launch of also Kelly's Choice Cares. So that's coming right along the corner right there. And that's going to be at the radio station from 4 to 7, 6212 Jefferson Avenue. So we're really excited about the Wilson family launching Kelly's Choice Cares and all of the people that help make that such a wonderful organization. And we are excited to see the launch of Kelly's Choice Cares. Moving on, November 16th, November 16th, y'all know y'all got to dance, sing, yell, jump up and down. If I do that, I'm going to fall on the floor, so y'all got to help me up. Pray for me, y'all. Pray for me. Got to stay with it. It is the Kelly's Choice Cares Gala Ball. Boy, we ready for that one. Formal attire on that one. That is going to be at the, let me get my, 6801 Bridgeway Drive in Suffolk. 23435 from 4 to 7, possibly 8. All of the nominees are going to be nominated and nominated. They've already been nominated. Make sure to get your stories into that. I'm pretty sure I can get Mr. or Mrs. Wilson to put that link in here, and I will share the link of where you can actually have them share it to Facebook as well, of where you can nominate your persons or person or persons that are caregivers in the community, because we do want to sponsor them, because the caregivers do so much for these children and adults that they help, and we want to make sure that they get a big support coming out of the Gala Ball. So make sure that y'all attend that and look good, get yourself shaved, hair cutted, get your 3-piece suit, maybe a 4-piece suit. I don't know if they got a 5-piece, but if they got one, get it in there, get some chicken too. Y'all might help me out. All right, so we're going to move on from that. That basically is what I have to cover for announcements on the written card. All right. I wasn't going to announce this live on air, but since Master Dark is with us and since everybody has tuned in, I'm going to go ahead and announce this. With the exclusion of Master Dark's tournament, the Battle of the Seven Cities will probably be, for a little while, the only tournament that I compete in. There's a couple of reasons for that. I have decided to change my focus as a martial artist to becoming a second-degree black belt. Now, I am focused on everything that I do, and I try to remain in that. But in the same situation, I also want to make sure that I do what is right for me. And to prepare for a tournament takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. I got to tell you, and all of this right now, this is an amazing thing because I'm excited about this tournament. I always get excited for Master Jack's tournament because he does such a wonderful job, putting on the tournament and making it happen. But the time that it takes and the time and the training that I have to put in is very, very big and very strenuous. I have a lot of things going on, including, the radio show, and I'm still going to be at karate, still going to be training, and I'm still going to do tournaments. But until I become a second-degree black belt, which hopefully will be in the next 6 months to 8 months or so, I'm hoping to have that done in that time frame. June 10th will be my 9-year anniversary of being a martial artist and training at Tiger Martial Arts, so I'm very excited about that. And I have made a commitment within myself to become a second-degree black belt and work on promoting some other people to first degree, and that's kind of what I want to do with teaching and everything like that. I'm getting some teaching opportunities at Tiger, and I'm enjoying that very much, and a lot of blessings are coming my way. So I wanted to just share that with you guys and let you know that I will be competing in tournaments again, but this year Master Jack Dart's tournament will be the last tournament I compete in until I become a second-degree black belt, because I want to push that forward and make that my main focus. But this year, June 1st, I will be competing, and I know Mr. and Mrs. Wilson will be coming to that one because I've been talking to them since it came out, and I know they're going to be ready and raring to go. So if y'all get there, and when y'all get there, y'all bring some money, because they got T-shirts and hot dogs and concessions and all sorts of sparring gear and weapons and all sorts of cool stuff going on. Y'all make sure to bring your money. Cash only, no checks. Make sure to bring cash. Straight money. 1, 2, 3. Make it rain in the membrane, baby. Got to make it rain. Oh, yep. Miss Winnie knows. See, she already on there talking about something. We got you. I love Miss Winnie. Love Mr. Wilson. They in there love Kelly, too. Y'all show some love and come out to Grandmaster Jack Dart's Battle of the Seven Cities, 1000 Bowling Avenue in Norfolk, St. Patrick's Catholic School. Come out and support. All right, so let's get into some sports. And the top story right now, I got to go with But before I do this, I'm sorry, I wanted to jump into sports, but I got a question from, let me get this, I got this email here from Jennifer in Orlando, Florida. And Jennifer, I'm going to go on point and say this is one of the best questions I have ever received on this show. And I've got three questions here that are going to knock your socks off, guys. So we're excited about this. This question came from Jennifer, and she's in Orlando, Florida. She actually, and actually, Miss Wilson has also posted the link that is to for the nominees for the Kelly's Choice Caregivers Gala, Kelly's Choice Cares one more time, help me, Jesus. Kelly's Choice Cares Gala Ball. It is www.kellyschoiceinc.org/2018 events. And there is the link right there. It's also on Facebook Live. Y'all can check that out. But getting back to Jennifer from Orlando, Florida. She says, I have been in a wheelchair for most of my life. I have had trouble finding handicap accessible apartments. Handicap accessible in this area is to be able to get into the apartment. How were you able to find a handicap accessible apartment, and what is the atmosphere like with the handicap accessible apartment in your area? Is it more difficult to find them? What are the waiting list like? What are the waiting list like? Do you have any pointers or ideas on getting handicap accessible apartments? All right, let's go into this real quick, because I know this is going to spark an issue at the top of the show, which it already has. A handicap accessible apartment is one of the toughest things to find in any area, because when they're found and when they're available, they go fast and they stay gone. It is very difficult for one to open up, because once the people who need them, who have either handicapped children or an adult or family member that is differently abled, they need them. And the way that I found this one, basically, our handicap apartments here are on the end of each unit, and the handicap apartment or handicap accessible apartment, basically, we were newly remodeled, and when we were newly remodeled, I noticed that when they said the handicap apartments were on the end, I said, wait a minute. I said, I am on the end and I don't have a handicap accessible apartment. I'm in a chair. I need one. And mine was actually converted now into a fully handicap accessible apartment with a handicap kitchen and a handicap bathroom. Now, let me explain a couple things here while we go into this. There are some benefits here, okay, but there are some drawbacks, okay. Even the cabinets that they put in are handicap accessible cabinets. They're lower, but if you are unable to stand, the only way you can reach the cabinets, unless you've got like 3-foot arms, is with a reacher, okay, because even the lower modified cabinets are not very low. Okay, the drawback is the counter space, because when the lower cabinets are lowered down, they take away counter space and drawer space that you would have in a regular apartment. What I'm talking about by that is to sit your microwave down on an area, because that in my kitchen where the main cabinets are lowered, we cannot sit the microwave down in the same area. We have to move it around a little bit and reposition. The greatest thing about this is the bathroom. My roll-in shower, I love that thing. I would live in that thing. I'm starting to grow gills, as a matter of fact. It is a little bit of a fishy situation. See what I did there? Okay, so yes, you can get a handicap apartment. The biggest thing you can do is just to go places that have apartments that are in neat and make sure that you look at them, make sure that you're talking to people, that you're going to landlords, and that you're going to be and telling them exactly what you need. You have to be specific in what you ask for. The word says be specific in what you pray for as well. Make sure that you're specific in what you ask for too. Because if you do not, or if you do not know, you want to make sure that the specifics, each individual disability is different. You have to make sure that when you're talking about a disability, the landlord knows up front and in writing what you need. That needs to be done before you ever move in. The biggest piece of advice I can tell you, do not take word of mouth. Get it in writing. Because if you do not get it in writing, it is about as worthless as the words that come out. No offense to anybody, but words do not go very far when it comes to leasing an apartment. You need to have it in writing. Make sure that it's all there. Make sure you know what's going on and when. And also, a lot of people don't realize for the floors, talking about the handicap floors, there are advantages and disadvantages to having handicap. The carpet is not in the household, whether it's in the kitchen or in the living room. I actually was able to get Berber carpet in my room, in our room, should I say? Sorry, Emily. It is easier and much more of a grip for the indoor-outdoor carpet in the bedrooms than it is in the apartment what they had. It started wearing down, and we had to get some better carpet because we were slipping, so we did that. And one of the things I like is when you have a landlord that is coachable and that cares about people, that is a big part of it as well. And you want to make sure that the landlord, you can talk to her or him. You want to make sure that the individual understands that there's going to be some modifications that need to be made that are considered reasonable accommodations, because everybody deserves to live in a community that they can live in and actually get along with. So make sure that you understand what are defined by that complex as reasonable accommodations, because guys, this can also come back to bite you in the, I'll tell you that right now. That's the way that goes. It just happens. That's the way it is. I didn't really say anything. I just beat my horn just so Let Go Radio knows I didn't say anything bad there. All right, so that's the way that goes. But also in the sense of being able to communicate to your organization that you live in. If you don't communicate with these guys, they don't know. They need to be able to talk to you and make sure what you need is provided. And that's not something that a lot of people know about. When you get a good landlord that cares, here's a biggie. In most complexes, they have designated parking. Now, here's the thing. For designated parking for a wheelchair accessible van, and Miss Winnie, you know what I'm talking about. Mr. Wilson as well. Most vans take up 2 parking spots. A lot of landlords and areas have trouble with this because it's 2 parking spots instead of 1. Well, here's the issue. When you get a van like this that has, whether it's a side or rear entry is not as bad because rear entry doesn't take up the parking spot because you can pull all the way in. But with the side entry where the ramp comes out, you need to have that whole parking striped in spot cleared and make sure that people don't park in that spot. And if they do, let your landlord know, because that is considered a towable area, and it's $250 to $500 plus the cost of the tow for parking illegally in a handicap parking spot. Don't get me started on that one because I can roll some heads. I'm gonna let y'all know now. So Jennifer, I hope that answers your question. Also, you can contact your local authority, your local housing authority. They can help you with that in Orlando there. Look that up online, and they will be able to give you some more of those answers of anything that I have not covered today. All right, the next question comes from Martin Taylor of, where are we at? Let's see. We are from Idaho. Hi, Martin. How are you? Let me read this email. I understand that you've been a martial artist for quite a long time. I have been a martial artist as well. I wear the competitive foot gear, foot sparring gear. Okay. And are you required to wear the foot gear even if you don't use your legs? Great question. Great question, Martin. Let me address this real quick. All tournaments do require you to wear full gear. That is foot gear, hand gear, cup, headgear, mouthpiece, the whole 9 yards for men and women. Now, the thing about it is, if you don't wear the foot gear because it's harder to get on or things like that, talk to your athletic director and the runner of the tournament first, because the runner of every tournament may be different, but most of these, I want to make sure, thank you, Elizabeth, I appreciate that. I want to make sure that you address the holder of the tournament, because that can be different in every scenario. Some will require full, some may not. Some may have a handicap division, some may not. So they may have it done as far as, with the division itself, and it also depends on what the person says that is holding the tournament. So to answer that question, I do not wear the leg gear. I have worn it before, but I find I have help getting it on and off. I do wear the hand gear, the mouthpiece, the cup, and the headgear, because I ain't getting kicked in the head today, just to let y'all know that. All right, so Martin, I hope that answers that question. Thank you for tuning in and emailing the Sports Minion Radio Show. Guys, to let you know, if you want to call in on Let Go Radio, 757-774-7552, and talk to the Sports Minion and ask him a question live, or you can also email us or ask us a question on Facebook at the Sports Minion Radio Show at yahoo.com. So please make sure that you email your questions to me here, and I will get those in on every air show. We've had quite a few questions. The questions are starting to really pour in now, because I'm answering them every day. I take 3 questions every day. All right, so for the last question, this one I just love. I honestly, I think this is my favorite question, other than Jennifer's disabled apartment question. And I like this question, because actually my instructor just went over this with me last week. This is from Ben, and I cannot pronounce this last name to save my life. I want to say Archuleta. Ben Archuleta. Hey, I got it. There we go. Ben Archuleta from Bloomington, Indiana. All right, so here we go. Ben Archuleta says this: I have competed in 6 tournaments in my martial arts career. I have been competing for almost 6 years. I am currently a first blue belt in the art of karate. I have lost every tournament that I have entered, and I find it discouraging to keep going to tournaments because I'm losing. I don't like losing. I like to win. I am in the tournament to win, but I also want to learn. Is that a bad attitude to have because you want to win a tournament when you go? Sincerely yours, Ben Archuleta, Bloomington, Indiana. Ben, let me just say to you, young man, everybody wants to win, okay? And that's okay. But if the spirit of winning becomes nothing with it, the spirit of winning will become nothing without it. Let me explain that. When I first started competing in 2000 and I want to say 12. Hey, Curtis, how you doing, brother? Thank you for joining the Sports Minion Radio Show. Sorry I didn't get to you earlier. I do want to say, as far as this is concerned, you got to realize, or I would say for me, I realized that learning, you can get a lot more to me out of a loss than you can for a win. Okay, not that I don't want to win in my tournaments, not that I don't want to go through and do the best I can and win some money and win some trophies. That's great. But to learn and to gain the experience, every tournament that you fight in or every tournament that you place in, it is something that you have to decide why you're going. What are you getting out of it? Are you learning from your competitors? Are you picking up other martial arts techniques? Are you competing in different things for the first time? Are you trying things for the first time? It is all about, I understand that people can, go to tournaments for different reasons. Some want to get in shape, some want to compete, some want to, just watch. It's all about what you really want to get out of it and why. What is the meaning of you going? For me, it's about learning and experiencing martial arts as a whole. It's the whole journey. My ultimate journey is to teach. So, I can guarantee you this. Master Dark has said it as well. You're going to learn. You're going to lose a lot more than you win most of the time. But when you win, you will get on a streak. And that's one thing that he told me that has stuck with me since I started this journey in sparring. Now, and some are going to tell you shouldn't. Some are going to tell you should lose. Some are going to. It all depends. And everybody has an opinion, and that's theirs. But all that matters is what you feel inside and what you get out of doing this for yourself and the others around you. Does it inspire you, and does it inspire others for you to compete and look at it that way? That's my goal. That's my goal. My long-term goal as a martial artist is to give to others, because I want to give back what the Lord has given to me every second of every day. So to say that, and you're going to lose a few tournaments. That's okay. A loss is not necessarily a loss. A loss is a learning experience and another way to succeed. Y'all will remember that from the speech on the Cerebral Palsy Conference. Hopefully, we're still going to get that tape out there. I know Mr. Wilson's been working on it. That's a busy man, y'all. He's doing a little bit of everything. Backup singer working hard in there. But we are going to get that tape up. I know I told you guys we're going to get it up as soon as we can. Most of all the speeches have been put up, but unfortunately, mine was cut like started broadcasting right in the middle, and unfortunately, I didn't get a tape of that. So we will get the tape out there. All right. Let me cover this WWE-wise. I want to talk about Bray Wyatt and the launch of Bray Wyatt and what they're doing. The Firefly Funhouse is the newest WWE storyline, so to speak. But Monday night, I would say this is the absolute greatest launch I have ever seen watching WWE. The reason I say that is the definition of this character is going to be absolutely sick, and I mean that in a totally good way. The fun-loving Bray Wyatt that has lost all this weight and is like a giant Mr. Rogers, and he's got on the slacks and the shirt and the shoes, and howdy, friends, good to see you. And then he says, I have a deep, dark secret. And they snap their fingers, and out comes this demented-looking, it's kind of like a cross between the clown from Spawn and the Joker. And this mask, I will post a picture of this on Facebook later today after the show, but it is so awesome. And if they do this character right and let it run, no pun intended, if they let it run, it is going to go quite well. One of the reasons that I like it is because they didn't come out and go with, what the character was going to be right away. And I think that was smart, because I was so annoyed by the Funhouse, and I'm like, oh, the last thing we need is another Mr. Rogers, yada yada yada, and then it it comes out, and it's totally not that. I love the dark edge that it has to it. Oh man, Blake, you don't like the Bray Wyatt character, the new. I'm talking about the dark one with the. Have you saw the mask and everything? You don't like it? Why? Tell me. Let me know. as Blake is typing there. We'll get to that in a second. Thank you for joining us, Blake. Let me see. Let's see. Watch Raw 22 weeks ago and couldn't. It was just bogus. Well, and I'll tell you, the storylines to me have gotten a lot better, and a lot of the character development has gotten better too. But I want to know the opinion of what don't you like about the character. I think that it's going to go quite well. I think eventually that they could possibly do a feud with Bray Wyatt and Aleister Black. Also, Braun Strowman is in there. And I'm going to mention a couple things wrestling-wise, so bear with me here. So let me slide off of wrestling just for a second because I want to go and get a couple of these stories out real quick. Deion Jordan for the Seattle Seahawks was suspended for 10 games for a PED violation. Free agency defensive back Deion Jordan received a 10-game suspension for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing drugs. That is the PED abbreviation there. The arbitrator denied his appeal. Jordan took Adderall, a medication used to treat attention deficit hyperactive disorder, after he was exempted. He expired. I made a mistake. I was 29 years old. He told Tom Pelissero on Tuesday, I feel like the person that I am, I feel like I am not that person. I am ready to move forward. I have been ready to move forward from this specific issue. I've been working really hard with myself outside of football, and I can see the progress as a young man, as Deion Jordan. I can see it. All right, let me explain one thing on this real quick. Here's the deal. Let me just go with this. You do the crime, you do the time, you take your suspension. It is what it is. Now, there's some things that they have to look at in specific and the specific area of what's going on. I believe that Deion's going to rebound from this. I think that he's going to do well, but 10 games, that's over half a season. So we're looking at that. Blake, I like the original too. I really do. I think Bray Wyatt was great with the original, but I think the original just took too long. I think they drugged the original. They didn't move with it. He was popular, and the Fireflies, which they're still using, this is going to make it explode because it's going to be kind of like your crazy Kevin Sullivan, and then your really, really mean Bob Backlund when he went off the haywire type thing. So it's going to go very well for him if they do it right and if they let it develop. If they don't try to push it, don't try to force it, I think that's going to be a great thing. All right, now I ask, and speaking of wrestling and superstars in basketball and baseball, let me bring the backup singer in on this, Mr. Wilson. I do want to bring him in live if I can. I have a question, and this kind of, I want to talk about this story a little bit. Lars Sullivan is a WWE superstar and has been for a couple of months now. He basically this is what this article says. As first reported by Fightful.com, WWE issued the following response in regards to reports of Lars Sullivan's past history of racist and homophobic comments. WWE supports a culture of inclusion regardless of gender, race, religion, or sexual orientation. We are committed to embracing all individuals and as demonstrated by the diversities of our employees, performers, and fans worldwide. Sullivan will be fined $100,000 and required to complete sensitivity training for offensive commentary uncovered from his past. WWE also facilitates meetings for Dayline with the community organizations to foster further discussion around the power of social media and the impact of your words. Now, here's where I want to bring Corey in on this, and this is why. The first thing is, words to me are a double-edged sword. Words can affect you sometimes harder than a punch to the face can. Sometimes they can destroy a person just on the words that they are. I want to get your opinion, Corey, just as to why, whether it's any kind of superstar, whether it's WWE, baseball, football, any kind of, when racial slurs and things like that start getting thrown out, are stars becoming bigger than they think they are, or is it just the hype of what they're in? Or do you think that they're trying to push their career and maybe push the envelope?
Well, first of all, how's everybody doing out there? But yes, I do think it's definitely a pushing the envelope kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you have someone, whether it be a rookie coming in or a veteran,
mm-hmm.
already in the game, you know, they have their personalities and their lifestyles that they had when they were in the game for, you know, 8, 2, 3, 5 seasons, or just coming in.
Right.
Already have that development in them, and the information that they're sharing, whether it be derogatory or whatever case may be, it's unfortunate that they have to put it out there, you know, because
mm-hmm.
of course, just like anyone else, they feel like they should have a voice too.
Right.
On the same note, that voice can, because you have a larger stage, that impact of your voice has more impact. It's like throwing a pebble in a pond or throwing
mm-hmm.
a cinnamon.
Sure.
You know, and that envelope that you're pushing tends to have more repercussions for those out there who are subject, you know, to taking your words to heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
Do you think? I mean, do you think it's? Why do you think it's harder for this country to see people as people, and to put classes on everything, and not, you know, I mean, just because I don't care about black, white, purple, red, because we all bleed the same. You know, we all have a heartbeat. But why is it so hard for this country to accept people as they are? Do you think it's fear?
It's a combination of fear. It's also a status. You know, the haves and the have-nots.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So if we can label you, then we know what level we're at. You know, in our life, as opposed to the next person.
Right.
So, you know, if a person is what we consider, you know, what society calls poor, or you know, low wage, or, you know, earning wage, or working man, you know, whatever the case may be, or the guy who's a millionaire,
right,
or a thousandaire, whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
Those are levels, because of course we're always striving to be better, hopefully in our life.
Sure.
Be, you know, better than we were the day before. But, you know, one of the things I find a lot of times when we look at other people, it's not about looking at a person whether or not that person has something that you want. Because my motto is I'm jealous of no man or woman, because I can have what they have. I may have just have to work a little bit harder.
Right, and a lot of people don't take that philosophy. They want to take it.
Right, and you know, granted, there's a guy out there who can probably run, you know, 1,000 times faster than I can,
mm-hmm,
but I can still run. There's a guy out there who can do, you know, who can swim very well. I can swim very well, but they may be, of course, a better swimmer. So, you know, it's just the fact of my training and what I'm willing to push down, you know, myself, the envelope in myself. I was asked a question years ago. Well, I was told a statement, and a gentleman asked me,
mm-hmm.
I was applying for a job, and after talking to the gentleman, he said, you know, I didn't want to hire you. And I said, why? He said, well, because I felt you were arrogant. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Do you know the difference between being confident and conceited or arrogant?
Uh-huh.
He said, no, what do you mean? I said, the difference is a confident person knows their limit, whereas an arrogant person doesn't know the limitations, so they feel like they can do anything.
Right.
With no training, with no, you know, just wake up and I can do it. A confident person knows what their steps are. They know what they have to do to get to that next level.
Right, what they can take and what they can't, kind of where they can go and where they can't. Mm-hmm.
Right, what I can handle, what my body, what my mind can handle to get me to the next level. When you build a muscle, you tear that muscle basically, and then the muscle reforms more strain.
Right, stronger. Mm-hmm.
Right,
mm-hmm.
So our lives are like that. Every day we wake up, we're being torn and pulled in different directions to make us stronger.
Right.
And that's the goal. So when athletes are out there and they're talking, they're trying to. Some people get to a point where they just are disconnected from society, and I think they do that on purpose. They try to disconnect themselves so they don't feel like they're part of the mediocrity and where they, in some cases, trying to get away from where they came from.
Is it that they're better? Are they thinking that they're better than society in cases, or is it the money?
Some people, yeah. Come on now. If you woke up one day and you hit the lottery for $80 million, your disposition, your mindset would change just a little. I don't care how you look at it. You can try to be as humble as possible, but you're no longer eating noodles out of a cup. You're not eating, noodles on a plate in a finest restaurant in the world.
I like some ramen noodles though.
But now you got ramen noodles with eggs. You're doing a little bit more. And that's the mindset. You don't mean to do it. You may not even want to do it, but it's just who we are as people. We tend to, when we know we have a little bit more, we walk different.
Yeah, well, and I guess I can understand now the love of money is the root of all evil, because that kind of, when you get that big paycheck, it's gonna push that would you call it maybe the comfort zone a little bit?
Yeah.
I can
push the envelope now. I can say a little bit something different because I can afford it.
Because right.
If I get a speeding ticket, I can go to court and actually probably beat the case. Whereas if you and I get a ticket, we got to go stand before the judge all day and get the book thrown at us. So it does give you a little different understanding when you're actually looking at money as opposed to not having as much money as the next person.
Well, see, and Miss Winnie, feel free to chime in on this too, because this is kind of the second part of that question. Looking at a person, and I love how Corey just described. I don't like labels in general. I don't think labels should be part of life, because a rich man or a working man, just because you have money or you don't have money doesn't make you rich. A person that doesn't have a lot of money can be rich in friends, but they may be labeled as poor. I don't think labels should be part of everyday life. And the question to Miss Winnie here is, looking at a star that makes, let's say, $200,000, when he has the money, and just like Mr. Wilson was talking about, does he get labeled as the guy that's got it better than me? Should we do away with labels totally?
Me personally, I think we probably will never do away with labels. It's unfortunate, and that just goes into what I was saying earlier about when you have some of the happiest people are people who work every day. Yeah. And the guy who's out there, you're getting $30, $40, $50, $60 million in your contract.
Right.
And you're now looked at differently. You're for an actor, for an athlete, for whomever it may be, when you're earning that much money, you're looked at very differently. You're looked at in the mindset of some people idolize. And you take on that role when you're being idle. When you're being looked at as an idol, because of course now you feel like I can say whatever and it may have an impact. Unfortunately, if you're not conscious about what you're saying, that impact can be very, very damaging or very, very boasting. You can actually lose people to another level. Right.
And that's just like I was talking about earlier, and that the words that you speak can have that severe positive impact or the severe negative impact. And to turn a spin on it a little bit, because Chuck would say you can go too far with positive and get too big-headed.
Yeah.
But how do you think it got that way? Because if a person is a person, I don't think you guys would necessarily, change with money. Because I know you, but the people that know me, I don't want to change because of money, because I believe that I should help people out that need it. Now, I'm not going to sit there and give every cent I've got away, but in the same sense, I think that money doesn't make the man or the woman. what you do with it and how you are because money, the problem with this, I think, is whether you're an athlete or not, when you become a professional athlete and you get the big contract, when you strip all that away, you're still the same person. So how did it get that way to where people were looked at differently because of the money that they made or more?
You know, a lot of times it's in the game, it's your agents.
Right.
Your agents are telling you how great you are, how big you are, how big you're going to be. You know, your parents always believe in you. They always believe you're going to be the best.
Mm-hmm,
you know?
mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, sometimes you don't always get to that level. But to them, the level that you achieve is still the best level for them because, of course, they love you nonetheless. But when you have people around you who are boosting you up, who are telling you that, you know, you're the greatest thing ever walking, you're the greatest, you know, boxer or wrestler
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the case may be, you know, when you got thousands and thousands and thousands, millions of people cheering for you all across the U.S., all across the world in some cases, you know, you tend to take on a different persona. You tend to take on that mindset that, you know, I'm being told I'm the best, or maybe I am the best.
So you believe the hype effectively.
Right. You start to believe what they say, you start to drink your own Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm. And I can drink some Kool-Aid, boy, let me tell you. I do want to read this comment that Elizabeth just said because it's really great. Society labels us society labels us when you learn to separate yourself from the label and it doesn't bother you and you don't care that you can actually live your life in peace and harmony. But that I agree with that, but it's harder. I guess it's easier said than done because of how big it's made. I mean, that's just I guess one of those things. But man, that really, wow, that's a tough one to go. I don't know if I could sit there and say, you know, that you know, if I won $1 million. Now I've never had $1 million, and we had to fight pretty hard growing up. Now we always had food on the table, but I don't want to sit there and say that money would change me or even, you know, we were talking about it earlier. You know, I'm not sure. I didn't know, you know, Master Jack Dart when he was coming up as an individual, you know, but when he became a grand champion, I don't know if the hype got to him. I mean, can it be done to where the hype doesn't get to you, do you think?
I mean, you can, but you have to be really grounded. You have to be really rooted in, you know, and not surround yourself with, you know, Julius Caesar said, I surround myself with like-minded people. So if your crowd is always hyping you up and always pushing you and telling you that, oh, you're the best and you're going to be the best and nobody can beat you, that's good motivation because you need that if you're in the field of, you know, any kind of sports. But on the same note, it has to be done in moderation. You have to look at it as, okay, I know I'm great, but just like I consider myself great, who's to say there's not somebody else out there who is coming up who may be better than I am?
Sure.
And just a little, you know, yesterday I didn't decide to work out, but that other guy decided to work out. You know, those little things make the big difference when it comes to actually, you know, how you see yourself.
Right. You know, but I want to ask this, and I'm going to turn it around a little bit because I mean, just like you know, Kelly's Choice and Kelly's Choice Cares, you know, with the launch, you know, you guys do pretty good. You know, you work hard, and you know have you know the organization that you're working with, and you have people helping you, and it's getting bigger, and it's getting more explosive, and there are events and everything going on. How do you not get wrapped up in that because you're doing so much for people? I would say that you guys are pretty big. I mean, on you know, it doesn't matter. How do you not get wrapped up in the hype of that?
I mean, it's actually pretty easy because, of course, we have each other to keep us grounded. You know, we look at each other. You know, we know what's going on. We know, you know, what we're looking forward to do because there's always more to do. And though we have people helping us out, we appreciate and we try to give back to those who help us out because, of course, they didn't have to help us.
Sure. But see, that's the humbleness that you're talking about, and I think a lot of these stars, whether it's basketball, whether it's wrestling, whether it's the man on the street that wins the lottery or the person that wins the lottery, a piece of humble pie now and then is not a bad thing.
No, it's not. It definitely tastes good.
And I think, you know, a lot of people will refer to it, you know, as eating crow when you get shown that, you know, you did something wrong. But I said it earlier, you guys have always been down to earth people to me. I mean, as far as, you know, and I can't go too high because I got my seatbelt on and that's going to keep me in my chair. But yeah, but wow, that was pretty good actually. The thing about it is, I don't know if one of the questions I get a lot, and I don't know if anybody that's differently able has gotten this. DJ, if you walk, do you think you would be different? And everybody I talk to says yes. Myself, my inner self is what it is, and I'm not going to change for anyone, regardless of whether how much money I have in the bank. But I say that, and I also believe in it, because if I walk, being that I've been disabled for as long as I've been, I don't think I would change. I mean, you know, it would be a miracle and it would be a great thing. But I can, and I've said this to Miss Winnie as well, I consider my cerebral palsy a blessing because I'm able to look at things differently. So I don't know if you know, let's say, you know, Kelly woke up tomorrow morning and could walk and talk the way she wanted to, she would still be Kelly.
You're right.
Okay, let me say, you know, those exact words you said about yourself, I don't care how much money I make, how big I am going to become.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to remain Winnie.
Exactly.
I am humble. I give a lot. I remember people. I don't forget what people have done for me. Even if I don't do something now, trust me, I will come back and remember that person.
Right.
Always. Corey does the same thing. He got my back.
Right.
However, this started in 2014, which made me say this because 2014 was our first year of the Caregivers Gala.
Uh-huh.
And every name that was submitted, after that, I sent out every letter, congratulation letter.
Mm-hmm.
I sent out the second letter, the confirmation letter.
Mm-hmm.
I made the phone call to the individual that was nominated by whomever.
Right.
As I called each individual, and my words were, hello, my speaker was just say Miss Jones.
Mm-hmm.
This is Miss Jones. I said, hi, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Edwina Wilson. I am the CEO and founder of Kelly's Choice Inc. I'm calling to let you know that your name was submitted to be one of our nominees this year for the Kelly's Choice Caregivers Gala.
Right.
And probably about 90%, without exaggerating, 90% of those people said, wait a minute, hold on. You're the CEO? And I kind of stood back like, yeah. But why are you calling? You know, and I'm like,
whoa.
And I'm thinking, okay. And they were like, CEOs don't call. So what that did for me was said, thank you, Lord, because this is what I want to continue to do.
Exactly.
I want to continue to be that person because God gave it to me. And I felt like he gave me that for a reason. And I never want to change that.
Sure.
I don't care how big I get. I want to still be that person to make those phone calls. Why? I enjoy it. 2, God gave it to me. 3, I know I get to know everybody's story single-handedly, and I don't have to have anybody come to me and tell me who this person is, what they doing, what they did, you know, all of this stuff. I get to learn it. But it builds a relationship as well. And that's how I get to know a lot of people. But I love that part. I love the fact that I get to make those phone calls.
Sure.
I didn't in the beginning say, hey, can you make this phone call? I am so glad it was me. And I want to continue for it to be me, no matter how big we get.
Sure.
No matter that. I want Edwina Wilson to be that person. You hit that on the nose, DJ. don't ever change who you are and what God created you to be.
Exactly.
If He created you to make those phone calls, if He created you to be that humble person, if He created you to give and give and give and not look back, regardless of what people do, now you could change some ways because no, God didn't say be a fool.
Right. No. Preach it now.
But but continue to be who you are.
Well, the thing about it is, Miss Winnie and Mr. Wilson as well, and as we approach the end of the show, I look at it this way: you making those calls, do you know what that does? It adds such a personal touch.
Yes.
To not only the organization that you support and you're the CEO of, but it adds a personal touch to yourself and the people you affect, because what they do. Because every time I mention Kelly's Choice Cares, every time I mention Kelly's Choice, I say Miss Winnie, I say Mr. Wilson, because I've said this 100 times, but it's more than saying it. It is a family and it is a village. Yeah. It is, and it's not about. I see you've been down the lowest of lows, and you've been on the highest of highs. We I think, we all have. But in the situation where, you've come up through it, and so has Kelly. She's been in the lowest of lows, and she's been in the highest of highs. And I will always say this: I don't want to change who I am, because exactly what Miss Winnie said, that's the way God made me. And if that's the way God made me, why would I want to change what God has done? Blake just made a great comment, and I want to read this out loud. Our CP does not make us who we are unless we allow it. That right there is a powerful statement. But in the same sense, getting to as I want to end this on a high note, because I want you to think about something. I think that Edwina Wilson and Corey Wilson are two of the most influential people in my life. And the reason I say that, it's been such a short time that I've worked with this organization, but it's the power that this organization has and the power that runs through them to affect others who question who they are and what they are. And I think that humbleness that Corey was talking about earlier, and that personal touch and being who you are that Miss Winnie was talking about earlier, should always remain the same. Because at the end of the day, to say this to end the show, and I'm going to give you the couple things here, you can have all the possessions in the world and all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, you can't take a dime with you. And that right there is the way it works. Guys, you can reach us on www.facebook. That is the Chuck Carter account. You can reach us on Yahoo, yahoo.com, and it's the Sports Minion Radio Show at yahoo.com. You can reach us at Twitter, the Sports Minion Radio Show, at Minion Sports. You can call in on the radio station every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, 757-774-7552. And to end this show today, I'm going to say something that Miss Winnie has said since day one. Remember to smile at someone every day, because you never know who you may bless. This is D to the J with a roll away, one half of the Sports Minion Radio Show. Chuck will be back with us next week. Thank everybody for tuning in. Love you guys to death. Be ready. We got a lot of events coming up. Guys, if you have not gone to Kelly's Choice, go check them out. Go find out about this wonderful organization. Thank everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week. Peace, everybody. Unfortunately, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Sports Minion Radio Show. Aww, you don't get to hear my voice anymore. Until next week at 2 o'clock on Facebook Live and www.letgoradio.net, where we once again will deliver the sports news the most entertaining way we can. We'll see you next time. Peace.